Hello, Tastorians. Welcome to Catch Up with Max and Jose. It's just me right now. Jose is walking around. So the main channel just hit 3 million subscribers. So I figured in celebration we would do a retrospective of 2024. Probably should have put this out right before the new year, but we were busy. We were out of town. So I'm doing it now. Yeah, we made 61 videos, which is one more than last year, which is a lot. Last year being 2023. This year probably not going to be as many because I've got to finish that cookbook, which I'm working on, and that means fewer videos, but still definitely one every week on Tuesdays. The biggest videos of the year, we got Sugar Plums, which I'm thrilled that one did well because it took a lot out of me to make. Made a huge mess. The Iceman video, which I did not expect to do as well. That was kind of like I gotta get a video out here before I was getting ready to leave town, and did so well. Cooking on the American Homefront. Frankly, the entire Homefront World War II series has done really, really well. There are a few episodes left in it. The food served at Wild West Saloons. So glad that one did well. And then number one by a mile is the Medieval Tavern video. Again, a video that I didn't think was going to do that well. And then other videos that I thought would do really well, they didn't. I can never tell. This is why I just make videos, and it is what it is. Because several videos did not do so well. The one right after the saloon video, actually, reviving an Old West ghost town, because it was like a interview episode, so a little bit different. But the dining at wild parties of Regency, England, about the rout cakes and the crazy parties, I kind of wanted that one to do better. It didn't. And then the truth behind Baby Ruth candy bars. Again, you can never tell what's going to do well, so just keep putting out the videos. That's all you can do. 184.7 million views. That's crazy, which is 20.9 million hours of people watching me. That's a lot, which is almost double last year's hours. That's pretty cool. I did not realize that. Jose put all these numbers together for me. I haven't seen them. A lot of things. So I started doing more shorts this year, and just in the last couple months doing cooking shorts, and those are doing really, really well. What's crazy is there's very little crossover in the audience. Much of the audience watches long form or short form and not both. There's only like a few percent that watch both, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, going back to the top of the year, in January, we had, 5 videos. Potato chips, the Wiener Schnitzel, Breakfast in Jane Austen's England, Lobscouse, and Table Manners of the Ottoman Empire. So usually videos in January, I kind of assume are not going to do that well. January is usually a quiet month. Every one of these videos did quite well, especially the Wiener Schnitzel, the Jane Austen breakfast, and the potato chips. All bangers at the beginning of the year. So we started the year off on a high note. February was the deviled bones, which were like the history of hot wings, the Roman Colosseum, the Michelin tire, the Michelin guide, and then spiced hot chocolate and feeding the Shogun, which was really great because it was sponsored by the show Shogun, which I loved. So it was really cool to get to work with them on that. The Roman Colosseum one, I made these dates, and they really took off. Other people have been making them on their channels and everything all year, so yay for the Roman Colosseum. I'm also so excited. We're going to Italy in March, like the first week of March, and we're going to go see the Colosseum. I've seen it long, long time ago. Jose's never seen it, so I'm excited. And when I saw it, you couldn't go really into it. So where the gladiators are and everything. So that's what I'm excited about. March we did meh, because I did a video on Ellis Island, which I thought was super interesting. It didn't really take off. Again, you can never tell. I worked with Josh from Mythical Kitchen to just talk about some of the fast food crazes that mainly he loved. History of waffles, Chef Boyardee's original spaghetti, which is one of the most delicious things that I've made so far on the channel, And then we finished up for my birthday with the Medieval Tavern video, which did insanely well, which is wonderful. I need to do another medieval video here soon. And so while we were on vacation at some point during this time, and I had this crazy idea to do an entire month of videos all based on transportation. Transportation month. Kind of sounded silly, but it actually ended up doing really, really well. I did the Oregon Trail, airline food, the Orient Express, which gave me an excuse to buy the Orient Express Lego set, what first astronauts ate, and then dining on the Lusitania, which most of those did pretty well. The Lusitania, meh, but they all did. And then the next month, the Lusitania actually inspired me to do a video on German U-boat during World War I and what they would eat in there. I actually think that that was one of my favorite videos to research, at least, of the year. I also finally made the ancient Egyptian spiral bread and was shocked that it actually held together. I kind of thought it would unravel. It did not. What the troops ate on D-Day, and the history of barbecue, where I had to film in my backyard because our kitchen was being redone, and that was not fun. This is a very loud backyard we have. And then in June, I was in England when these videos started coming out, visiting, and the first was Ötzi the Iceman, and it did so well. I can remember as I was walking down the street, we were in the area where all of the barristers, all the lawyers are, and I remember seeing a wig that you could actually buy in one of the shops, and the video released and did really well. Yeah. And then the Wild West Saloon video, and that did super, super well as well. Then the Miners, Gold Rush Miners, that one did well. And then the Black Mead of Medieval France, that one did well. I just got rid of that mead, actually. It's been sitting there for 8 months. Just got rid of it. In July, we did deep dish pizza. We did Civil War prison food, focusing mainly on Andersonville, but not just. Strawberries and how they were invented, essentially, the modern strawberry. The deadly job of royal food tasters, and the disturbing origins of Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Now, that's one that I thought would do really well, and it did not do really well. Again, sometimes it's because of the time of year, sometimes it can be other things are happening in the world, and then sometimes it's the thumbnail and title, or just the topic. I thought it was really, really interesting. People had been asking me to cover it for a long, long time, and then I did, and it just kind of fizzled. But that's okay, because then the next week was the kickoff of the World War II series. And I started with the American home front, and usually August is the quietest month of the year, and it was one of the top performing videos right out of the gate. And that was followed by some not top performing videos, more traditional August videos. One was the Murder of Egypt's Forgotten Queen, where I made Ollie and talked about the name Ollie and how it came to be. One was on the Viking funeral, and then one was on making clotted cream. I made clotted cream from scratch, and that actually did pretty well and was delicious. September, I made the original brownie. Then the Soviet home front also did really, really well. Recreating dog food from the last 2,000 years. I've been wanting to make that video for a few years now, and finally was able to, and had my friend Maureen's dog Luna actually do the taste testing. And then we had the video on the wild parties of Regency England, the rout cakes. I don't know, just didn't do well. Beef tea from a Victorian hospital. I didn't expect that to do well. It did pretty well. Can never tell. October had people, did medieval people eat breakfast, all about medieval and early Renaissance breakfasts, and that actually did quite well, as did the World War II British homefront rations. And then a couple Titanic videos. Usually the Titanic videos are bangers. These were less than bangers, but they were also Titanic adjacent because they were talking more about the Carpathia. It's a topic that I never tire of, but it is what it is. And then we talked about the Baby Ruth candy bar, and then the truth behind croissants, and that did very well as well. And I just like any excuse to eat croissants. Election cake, that is I think that's the first time I have ever remade a dish on the channel. I'm going to be doing it again soon. Not election cake, another thing that I've made. But so I was surprised that it did as well as it did. I think people just wanted an escape from all of the election. Ancient Roman cheesecake did really well. The German home front, controversial, but it did well. Then I did London Blitz and Civil War cranberry apple pie, which was delicious. And then Alexander the Great. My gosh, the year is almost over. And then in December, the Japanese internment camp video. I had mentioned this topic in the very first World War II video that I did of the year. And I was like, would you like to see that? And the response was overwhelming. And I got to interview George Takei, who was very, very kind. And yeah, that was a really interesting video as well. And it could have been so much longer. It was already quite long, but there was a lot in there that I was left out. The Great Eggnog Riot, which, again, this is something that we didn't expect would do so well, and it did. And then Sugar Plums, which really was super exciting. We were in Mexico when this came out, so this is the thing. We've realized that when we are out of town and a video comes out, it tends to do well. When the first video of the channel ever popped off, it was Garum, we were in Phoenix. I was in England for both of the Ötzi the Iceman and the Wild West. I was in Mexico for this one. What are some other ones? We were talking about it. A lot of times we're traveling. Melos Zomos. We were up in Lake Tahoe when that came out. Titanic. We were in Solvang when that came out. It's just, so I need to go on more trips. And we are doing a lot of trips this year because I'm leading the river cruise in Europe. I'm actually going twice. They're bringing me out in February to test the cruise, and then we're going to Italy, and then again in October when they actually lead the cruise. After Sugar Plums, there was the Great Depression Christmas pudding, which I ate even though it had uncooked egg whites in it. Clearly I'm fine, but it was not great. And then I wasn't even going to put a video out on Christmas Eve because I was like, people are going to be too busy. I'll take a day off. But then I was like, you know what? I'll put out a video that I wouldn't usually put out. I'm going to touch on a topic that's really rather recent, 1988, and make the square or rectangular pizza that I loved when I was a kid from school. And I did not expect that video to do well. And it did really well, as did, I made a short of it, and super well. And where were we when that video came out? Phoenix. Again, it's all about travel. When I'm here, it doesn't go well. When I'm traveling, it goes well. I make the videos here, but I need to travel to release them. And then we finished up the year with a kishkia, the hangover cure from 10th century Baghdad. So it was a really good year. Really exciting to see the channel grow. Like I said, we just hit 3 million subs. And it was exciting because I started doing more shorts and everything, and was worried it was going to take away from the long form videos, but it's not. It's just kind of adding to it. And I'm getting to cover things. I think I'm going to be able to do more cooking that way, because the cooking is not what takes a long time. It is the research. And so I'll be able to do like series where I just go through an old cookbook and I'm like, I'm just going to make one thing from every chapter of, this cookbook, or this cookbook being Isabella Beaton or something like that. I'll have the ability to actually do that. So I'm excited for that. And I'm excited for what's coming up this year. I've just started kind of compiling ideas. Like I said, I still have World War II home front videos to do. And then I'm wondering what I'm going to do after that. And part of me wants to pivot into, because people like the World War II stuff, I like the World War II stuff, pivot from the home front into what the armies were eating. I've touched on the rations of the American Army, but there's so much more I can talk about that. And the British Army and Navy and military in general, but their rations were obviously so different from those of the Japanese and the Germans and the Indian soldiers and everything. So I think that could be a really interesting series going on that would entice people and keep their interest. Because it is all about keeping their interest. The only thing that's more important is keeping my interest, because I'm the one who has to sit down 40 or 50 hours a week and make these videos. So as long as I'm interested, then I'll just keep making them. And so far I am interested. I am also working on the second cookbook, kind of taking a break over the last few months because the end of the year was so crazy putting out extra videos and whatnot. But that's why I'm not going to put out any extras for a while. I want to tackle this cookbook and get it done. It's Recipe for Disaster. It's all about foods associated with history's calamities, either natural disasters or in many cases people-made disasters. But yeah, I'm excited to have that out there in the world, and then I don't know what my next project will be after that. I have some ideas, but I don't want to commit to anything. It's funny, so we were watching an episode of Catch Up with Max and Jose, I think from like the end of 2022, and in it I talk about what I want to do this next year, and one of the things was a series on the home front of World War II, like what they all ate. And then I didn't start that until August of this year, or of 2024. So it took like almost 2 years to get it started. So basically, whatever I'm saying I want to do now, hold on, because it might be a while before I get there. But if you have any suggestions of things that you want to see, I'm always taking suggestions, because even when I have plotted out what I'm going to do for the next 6 months, somebody will be like, oh, here's an interesting food history story, and that ends up being the next video that I make because I'm super excited about it right when I hear about it. So if you have any suggestions, put them down in the comments. I've been collecting them from Patreon patrons and in another video that I made, and so I want to kind of put everything together and here in the next 2 weeks plot out 2025, half of which will change, but at least I'll feel more prepared if I have something on the schedule. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll get more Catch Up with Max and Jose out before next December. Bye. This is Ollie. Say hi, Ollie. Hi, Ollie. This is Milo's brother, and he enjoys being held a little bit more than Milo. Right, bud? Bye.